Welcome guys to Code Wings. I hope you enjoyed the last lecture. Today we are going to continue our tutorial on Laravel. Like I said earlier, Laravel is a very powerful framework used by web artisans. It's used to build elegant, web applications with high security measure put in place. Now today let us quickly check what we are going to look into. Now in this lecture today we are going to look into Artisan commands. We're going to also look into models and related data table. We are going to also look into database creation. Also, we are going to check table migration. Artisan command is one of the powerful tools in Laravel that performs a lot of magics. Yes, let me call it magic. It performs a lot of functions. So with Artisan command, you can do a lot in Laravel. So it's a very useful tool in Laravel that you must know how to make use of. So having got that, let us dive deep into our lecture. But before finally moving out of this place, I told you the last lecture that Laravel operates with model view controller, MVC architecture. So today we are going to check the model. So maybe if you can do that and do the remaining two in the lecture today, but if not, we'll continue in the next lecture. But let us check the model first. Model view MVC architecture of Laravel. So the first one is model, the second one is a view, the third one is controller. But let's check the model. Let's go back to our project. Now, I told you in the last lecture that we have our app folder under which the MVC architecture is planted. Now let's check. I told you that in the HTTP we have our controllers, and inside the app folder also we have our models. Let's check our models folder. Here we have a user model that came automatically with Laravel application. This is a model. This is an example model that came, a user model. You can see a lot of codes written into the class. You see the user class extends authenticatable. So inside the user class you can use artifacts, all these properties and classes. We are going to look into them as we proceed. Now let's go back. In the last lecture we run our project right away from the URL. We check our public folder because we name our folder, the project when we created it, we name the folder tutorial, and we direct it to the public folder whereby we are reading whatever is in our view. But today we are going to make use of the powerful Artisan commands to check a better way to access our URL, to access our project. So let's go back to the terminal. Now, instead of writing this URL this way, there is a very wonderful, Artisan command that you can run that will give you a wonderful URL through which you can access your project, from the browser. What is the Artisan command? It's very simple. Just run php artisan serve. Wow, you can see it already gives us a complete URL with port 8000. So if you copy this now, just copy this URL. Just copy this URL, copy it, and go to your open another tab, paste it, and check. You see, instead of this, we are getting a wonderful URL and we are getting the same result, the same output. In Laravel 8, this may not work perfectly in all cases. It's because we are just checking the home page. That's why we tested it this way the other time. So the best way to do it is by run artisan serve, php artisan serve. It's going to give you this port. See, 127.0.0 0.1 colon 8000. That's the port 8000. Now let's continue checking into our artisan commands. Now, how do you make model? If you want to make model, how do you make model? How do you create your model? It's almost the same thing. You run your PHP artisan command as well. Now, let's stop that. You want to make model, run PHP artisan make. You use the word make. Then after that, put colon. We want to make model, write model because we want to make model. Model. What is the name of the model? Let us call it tutorial. If you click enter, it will generate a model for you automatically. Now let's go back to our project. You see, in our project, when we check our model folder at the right time, it's only tutorial, it's only user that we had. Now, because we have run an artisan command to create another model, which we call tutorial, we have the tutorial model here. Let's check the tutorial model and see what is there. You see, the tutorial model is extending the model class, and it also has use factory. We explain this one in subsequent videos. But what I'm just telling you is, with that command, you can create as many as possible models that you want. But you know what I will do now? I will delete it because there is still other thing I need to explain to you here. Other thing I need to explain to you. Now let's go back to our objectives again. Now I have told you how to create model, but we need to create this model with a related table because of course in Laravel has ORM properties, object relational mapping, or you call it object relational mapper property, which gives every model an associated table. So because we are having a model, of course, for us to relate with database, we need a table that can actually, contain every information we pass from the Laravel model or from the controller from our project into our database. Now let's see how we can generate both model and related table at the same time. So I will go back to my terminal. Here is my terminal. I want to rerun that project again. Rerun that command. So instead of me, because I want to have, of course, when I run this one the other time, I generated model directly. But now I don't want to generate model alone. I'll be spending time to create table separately. I want to do it with one command. So what do I need to do? Because I want to generate a migration, just put -m in front of it. -m, you will see that we generate a model for us, and at the same time it's going to give us a table that we can migrate. Now let's click enter. You see, model created successfully, created migration. Migration is being created. Now you have to be a bit patient so that you can run migration completely. Let's wait. Now it's running. It may take a bit time, just wait for it to run. Just wait for it to run. Because it's creating our migration table. Because we need that with the model. So a table needs to be associated to the model for us to effectively relate to our database. Now it's running. At times, it may take few minutes to run, but just be patient so that I can run properly. Still running. When it's done running, you will actually see it. It's going to go back to you directly, but it's running. Still running, generating a table for us, automatically. It's doing that. You will see the powerful, ability of Laravel, how it creates things automatically. In normal PHP, in raw PHP, you have to create your table on your own. You go to your database, you create. No, Laravel will not give you such stress. Like, it's going to reduce your stress dramatically. And it's working. It's working behind the scene. Just be patient and let it run the migration for us. Let's create the table for us successfully. It's working. Still working. Still working. Just wait for it. It's doing a lot of work behind the scene, creating, a kind of schema for us behind the scene. So just allow you to do the work so that you'll not be stressed. You see, it's done. The table has already been created perfectly. Now let's check. Let's go back to our project and check what has been added. Now you can see we have our tutorial. We have our tutorial model. Now let's check our database to see what table it has created for us. Go to your database, go to your migration. From there you can see create tutorials table. If you check that, look at this place. It has given us migration file. Now here we can see it created tutorials table. Now this is perfect. This is wonderful. Laravel is so so lovely, so powerful. That's why you need to learn it. You need to actually understand how it works, because it's going to help you in building your applications. Now look at this table. We can see the ID. This ID is primary key on the table. The name of the table it will create for us is tutorials. So this ID is auto increment, and this is times. Now let us create another row. Let's call it table. It's a string. I will call this table, I will name it name. Now let me create another row, table, another field. Let me call this one, it's a string as well. Let me call this one address. Are you following? All right. Now, if we check our database, you will discover, like if you go to the SAM, I asked you to install SAM the right time, because that's what will help us to run our Laravel application on the browser. Now, if you go to PHP my admin, that is the database that will be relating to our project. Now, if you check it, you will discover that we don't have our project there. So how do you connect the database? Now you have to connect to your database before you can actually have this schema duplicated on your database. Now, how do you connect to your database? Now it's very simple. Go back to your project. You will see .env file. Look at it. .env file. Click on that. And under it, we see several items listed, but under that we see a part where you see database connection. Of course, we are using MySQL, so it depends on the database you are using. The name of the database, MySQL. You can see the host name. You can see the port. Now we want to rename this database name. Now I want to rename it. Let's rename our database tutorial. Now, personally, I don't usually use password, but the username I use for my database is root. So I'm not using password. If I use a password, just write it here. But I'm not using password for my database. So let me just leave it there. So I will go back to PHP my admin and create a database name called tutorial. And let me go to my localhost. PHP my admin has already given me. Now, when that opens, you just create the database name and you are good to go. Now look at it. I want to create a database called tutorial because I've named it on my project that the name of my database is tutorial. tutorial. You see, just create it, very easy, just create it. It's created, you can see, it's created here. If you check it, you discover there is nothing, no table, nothing. It's here. Now we will use another Artisan command to push all our schema here, to migrate all those fields, the fields that are there, that are in our project under the database, to migrate them here. So let's go back to our project. You see, go back. I want to run another command now, php artisan migrate. That means we are telling our Laravel that it will migrate all tables inside our database to our database, to our MySQL database field. Now, if you run this, see what will happen. Migration is being run. You can see the magic that has been performed here. Now, let's go back again to our tutorial, refresh. You see, boom. You see a lot of things that have been added just with, with just a command. Now let's check our tutorial table. Tutorials table. You see the field that we had there. I told you the auto increment ID was there, which is this. Where's our database again? Migrations. Now, which is this? I showed you the other time. The auto increment table, the name, the address that we added. All of them are there. You see, name, address. Now, this timestamps is for created art and updated art, which we can see added to it now. You can see it's added. So this, if you understand this part of model, this part of Laravel, you will surely enjoy working with Laravel and developing your applications with Laravel. So in the next lecture, we look into the views. Maybe you can combine the controllers together, but if not, in the subsequent lecture, I want us to look into the views and the controllers. So once you have the basic understanding of this, working with Laravel will be very easy. But before that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click on the alarm notification button, so that each time I upload another project, you can be the first person to be notified. You will be the first person to see, and YouTube will alert you another project has been added, so that you can enjoy watching and enjoy learning. Thank you.